Tonight on the Reno Show, we have an amazing backyard transformation with our friends at Luxo Living. Rowan will attempt to de-stress the process of moving house. I'll be showing you what happened next in my real renovation. Patricia will be breaking down how to incorporate Feng Shui into your home, and you do not want to miss my styling secrets for vignettes. Huge news. I did the prelim numbers on this place and it totally stacks up. Really worked hard on a good relationship with the agent, offer and acceptance, bit of negotiation, and voila, it is mine. So at the moment it's still conditional. I've got another couple of days of it being conditional and then it will go unconditional. So I have obviously managed to get some access back in here with the agent. I want to get some finer details. So once it's unconditional, I can start ordering my products. Everything I need inside my phone now. I'm off to work out how I can add some value to this puppy. Now, so many of us Aussies have one of these spaces in our backyard, without doubt. It's like half forgotten, left over, half done, little bit of space that could be quite a sweet and welcoming outdoor space, but we kind of just haven't gotten around to it. Now at this house, the owners tell me that they have really big plans for this area and they're saving up for a beautiful she shed or studio out the back. But in the meantime, this is kind of a wasted space. So I want to give them a small budget mini makeover that's going to make this a welcoming space for the couple of seasons they'll need to save up for their big project. Now, Stone Set have done a phenomenal job of transforming what was a horrible cement sheet deck area. It is absolutely amazing. I mean, you could use this for anything now. You could use it for an outdoor dining space with a big umbrella. You could use it for an outdoor lounge area. You could throw cushions on it, a sand pit on it, anything you wanted, literally. But I'm going to use some amazing pieces from Luxo Living and transform it, given, although it's sunny and windy, it's winter, into a cute little fire pit space. I have two amazingly hardy plants here for you. The Raphiolepis Oriental Pearl and the Dichondra Silver Falls. Now both of these are amazingly perfect for this situation because the Oriental Pearl is going to be a really low maintenance, structured kind of miniature hedge here, while the Dichondra Silver Falls gives a real softness to the front of this planter box. Now I've popped these planter boxes here because they hide the top edge of next door neighbour's fence for these guys, and they also provide a little bit of protection on this glass fence for soccer balls and the heat of the fire pit. Now to take care of these guys, they are pretty drought hardy, but in those hotter months you need to be watering them at least once a week. We are set. We have our heat-resistant floor in from Stone Set. We have our gorgeous lounges in from Luxo Living. But for those of you who don't know me, you might be going, what about the maintenance, Naomi? I am a low-maintenance chick, I tell you. So for me, all these cushions and these lounges are great, but what happens when the rain and the wind whips up? Well, I have this family completely covered. I've gotten in from Luxo Living some outdoor furniture covers. That is right. So over the top of the cushions, over the top of the throw rugs, we simply secure these outdoor covers and everything underneath will be clean, dry and ready to use next time they need it.
right, welcome back. Amongst other things, we were just talking about moving. Now, I have moved, Gnomes.
How many times?
5 times in 5 years.
Wow.
I know, because we were living in Melbourne before we moved back up here to Queensland. So we were in rental property. So we were constantly, every year, not through necessity. Well, actually, no, it was through necessity, because every time we rent a house that we love, the owners would want to move back in at the end of our lease.
That means you're a bit of an expert.
I'm a bit of an expert
on moving.
At moving. So we thought we might just talk a little bit about that today and maybe give you some top tips, or some of my top tips, certainly I know about Gnomes, as far as moving is concerned. So,
see, my number one is make everything as easy as possible.
Don't move. That's number one.
No, it would be, if I was going to move though, ultimate time for a spring clean, declutter, give to charity, throw out if broken.
That is
systematic.
That is singularly one of the best things about moving, is it's a great time to take stock of everything that you have, because we're nesters, and we tend to accrue stuff, especially if you've got kids. We tend to accrue stuff, and by moving once every year for 5 years,
you would have been trim.
Oh, we were trim. I tell you, if we hadn't seen it for 12 months, it went, and there was again, we've alluded to this before as well. There's no emotional attachment to stuff.
Okay.
Stuff just went. And I tell you what...
But there would have been some stuff that you were attached to that you wanted to keep forever.
So we kept
it. Grandma's old teacup.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was in a special keepsake area.
Yeah. And that would go... A lot of stuff would go... And this was handy for us as well, because we would just bring in a big box.
Yep.
And the tea chest cabinet, which had all the lovely crockery and stuff in it, would all go into the one box. So we knew exactly where they were labelled up. And that went, And that went with the tea chest. So the tea chest and the box go together. They go in the truck together. We know when they come out of the truck, they go together into that spot, and then you just have a glass of wine and unpack it.
So. I like it. You just mentioned a really important thing though. Labelling.
Labelling's really important.
Labelling. Yeah. Do you label per room, or do you just label what's in there?
It depends. We would label per room, definitely. Always put the room that you wanted on, and we would know where we were moving to in advance. So we would know which was Frankie's room, which was Jack's room, which was our room, which is the kitchen and wherever.
Yes.
So those would have the appropriate labels on it. But then there would be Jack's room books, for example.
So you knew what to unpack first.
Yeah, and we knew what was really heavy, because the books are heavy.
That brings up another one, because I have moved a couple of times. Another one for me is getting the right boxes. Like a lot of people will just go to their local Kmart and grab a pile of boxes that the tea bags came in, only to fill them with books, and one, it be too big and hence too heavy, or two, when you pick it up, the bottom falls out of it.
Right.
Like there's so many affordable options. You can even, I noticed the other day that when people have moved, they then sell on or give away their moving boxes.
Yep, that's right. So it goes, and you're recycling stuff. It's pre-labelled, some of it, which is kind of handy if you can dig through them.
Good job.
But the other thing too is make sure you get a decent masking tape.
Yes, good point.
Even if you've got the gun.
Roll the gun.
The gun.
Oh.
They're great fun, and they're much faster, and it's... Times of the essence.
Means you don't have to be tearing
That's right.
the tape.
And you're not, with Stanley knives, not cutting things, or with scissors, and you're not running the risk of cutting yourself.
Nice.
And when you're packing with kids in the house, you've got to seal these boxes fast, because the kids are into them and pulling stuff out.
Oh, I haven't seen that toy in ages.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you're going to see it and you haven't seen it in ages, it's probably in the bin, or it's gone to the recycling.
Absolutely.
Back to the op shop or something like that.
What else did you find?
We did all of it by ourselves.
Oh, would you do it again that way now?
Well, it was kind of out of necessity. I had a ute, so we just did many loads with the ute.
Yep.
When we moved interstate, we did it done professionally, which I would always recommend as well.
Yep.
If you've got it in your budget to do it, then it's A, it's much easier, B, it's much faster. See, it frees you up to take care of the rest of your life.
Yes, which is also busy during moving time.
Absolutely.
You've got services, electricity,
you're disconnecting
water,
stuff. You're
post.
Often in negotiations with real estate agents or whatever it is that you're going, you're signing contracts or you're finalising contracts or you're, and then you're trying to carry out your daytime job at the same time and try and keep the kids in some semblance of normality. So, my kids are never normal anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Pretty much we're going to get the right equipment to do it.
Yep.
So if you do choose to move on your own, then you should be looking at the right type of moving trolleys. Don't try and think that you can just lift a fridge.
That's right, absolutely. And you can hire these things, people. You can
so
hire
affordably.
a trolley. It's very, very affordable. And the time it saves you will far outweigh any cost or expense that it incurs to hire it. So, and I mean, you know, we've got one body for life, so
We
protect
do.
it. You don't want to be rushing around and doing things the wrong way and then injuring yourself forever.
Absolutely. And a similar one, you know, you can even hire now moving blankets.
Yeah, or big moving trailers that you can stack
Yes.
everything into if you've
And
got
so
to do it yourself.
when you're putting your furniture together, you don't have to worry about getting them out the other end scratched.
That's right, that's right. So yeah, get some help if you can. Call
So
the boys
help,
man.
right equipment, be prepared, declutter, label well,
Label well,
get
plan.
a masking tape gun.
Get a masking tape gun. Problem solved. Masking tape done.
I like it. So
Whatever.
what would be your top one of all of those?
Declutter.
Okay, there you have it. Rowan's top tip, 5 houses, 5 years. Top tip is declutter first.
Your life will thank you for it, and your
Thanks,
wife.
Ro. Some good tips.
No worries.
Bespoke styling is the perfect way to complete your renovation. So join me for some styling secrets. Many people are confused or scared of vignettes, but all it is a story of styling elements on a desktop, a side table, or a coffee table. So I'm going to share with you my top 7 tips. Tip 1, style around a light source. If your vignette on your table is in a darker corner of the room, no one is going to see it unless you style with a lamp as a central feature. Tip 2, let the items you choose be guided by the style of your room and of your home. If you have a more traditional home, you're going to have to choose even numbers and maybe a symmetrical vignette, whereas if you have a more relaxed feel, you can mix it up. Tip number 3, use colour to tie the vignette into your room. This can be a great way to bring in seasonal pops of colour that are easy to change out as your tastes change. Tip number 4, a great rule of thumb is to style in odd numbers, 3, 5s, or for a really big space, consider 7. Tip number 5, vary the heights of the objects inside the vignette, and if needed, use a little pedestal or a stack of books to bring your objects to the perfect height. Tip number 6, vary the depth to create interest in your vignette. So rather than having all your items lined up in a straight line across your coffee table, vary the depth at which they appear to create a beautiful story for the eye to dance on. Tip number 7, texture, texture, texture. Mix it up. Have some natural textures, some metallics, some glass, some gloss, and even some matte surfaces. There you have it, everything you need to no longer be scared or confused by vignettes. All right, we have everything we need now in the app. We have all the data we need. It's great. But my next step is to work out exactly how I'm going to add value to this house. And there's a couple of things that I do to make that happen. The first thing is I look at fixing up other people's mistakes. So in this property, there's quite a bit. We have stormwater that isn't plumbed back to the road. You got it. The downpipes literally puddle water at the bottom of all of the piers. So that's something I definitely need to work on. What I'm thinking there is I'm going to get all of the downpipes changed to a charged unit so that I'll be able to charge the downpipes all the way back to the road because the house sits a little lower than the road. I also need to get obviously the asbestos removed off the property. The whole roof is asbestos, so I'm pulling in some licensed contractors to not only remove all of the asbestos on the roof and replace it with a beautiful new one, but I'm going to need to get rid of a lot of the asbestos that's been illegally stored under the house. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. Another thing that I found in there, which is another really interesting way to do things, is all of the timbers around the windows have been really poorly bogged up. And in some cases, there's a whole world of dry rot as well. So that's definitely a must do that I'm going to have to pay absolute attention to. Another thing that I've noticed that is an absolute must do in this house is the wall in the bathroom. The tiles are billowing, so they're popping out from the wall, and I've noticed that underneath the house there's some dampness underneath there, so that's another must have. Then I move on to how am I going to add value. Essential when you're working out how you're going to add value, you must know who your target market is. So I've worked out the target market for this property is either an investor or it is a young family or young singles. Young family with maximum of 1 child because it's only a 2-bedder. So I know my market really, really well. Now I need to work out what I can do with this floor plan. So floor plan is like something without doubt. Every single property that I renovate, I always look to see how I can squish and add value into the floor plan. So I'll get the data from inside my app that we got when we did the property inspection, and I'm now going to spend some time drilling down, working out how I can pump some value in here. I would absolutely love to increase the size of the kitchen in this place. It is so tiny, and it's including a laundry in there as well. And I'd also love to give them maybe another sitting room. So I'm gonna hit the books, I'm gonna get my measurements out, see how I can pump some value into this puppy, and then I'll get back to you. Plant of the Day with Chloe from the Greenery Sydney. Here with Chloe today with a gorgeous little plant. Chloe, what have we got with us today?
This is a Monstera adansonii.
Okay, can we say that in a different way?
Also commonly known as a Swiss cheese plant.
Perfect, let's call this a Swiss cheese plant. All right, so tell me a little bit about this. Why do you love this one?
It's just its intricate holes, it's quite delicate, point of conversation.
It is a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is exactly that. It is a talking piece.
It is, it's beautiful.
Now, where are you finding people are using this one?
Centerpieces on the table, bookshelves.
Nice. And obviously it looks a little delicate, our good old Swiss cheese. So what do I need to make sure that I'm doing with this to keep it alive and healthy?
Okay, they're a little bit delicate, but they will thrive in bright light and moderate watering, so not too much.
Okay, what's moderate?
So during summer, probably once a week.
Okay, perfect.
What
about in cooler months?
Yeah, during winter, maybe once every 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what if it was on a shelf in direct sunlight?
Not direct sunlight.
Okay,
no
so just
sun.
lovely light, but no direct sun. There is a difference, right?
Yes, it will burn the leaves.
Okay, so you might need to check back in on me in a couple of weeks to see how this one's going.
I will.
Hey everyone and welcome. I have Patricia from patricialohan.com with us today. Welcome.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun because Patricia is here to talk to us about all things feng shui. And first of all, let's face it. Exactly what is it? It isn't woo, it's actually science, right?
It is science. And it's a 5,000-year-old practice, which is really about getting your home to be happy and healthy and wealthy.
Happy, healthy, wealthy. Have you read my tagline? Naomi Finlay, that creates happy, healthy, wealthy spaces. We're a match made in heaven. All right, so it's a 5,000-year-old practice. Now, every time I've ever looked into any of it, I'm a massive fan of space medicine, but anytime I've ever picked up a book in feng shui, I literally get like 5 pages in and I'm out.
Okay, this is a very common
It is?
complaint. Yes.
It's not just me?
It's not just you. And actually it happened to me. When I got my first feng shui book at 15, I got in, I was like all excited. And then I got to this line and I was like, oh, this is too complicated.
Yes.
So I really love to think about the idea of feng shui like it is like an iceberg. So there's the things that you can see, like the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
And then if the tide goes down a little bit, there's some more actions you can take.
Yeah.
And then right below that is like when you
Where
really
most is,
you actually need to work with someone to really get the fullest potential out of feng shui. But that doesn't mean that looking and acting on the tip and the next level are not going to help you create a house that is happy, healthy and wealthy.
Okay, so if you had to describe to my 12-year-old daughter what feng shui is,
Okay.
what would you say?
So in ancient times and now, we build a house, and things were built with intention back then. But right now, houses are just being like thrown up, kind of willy-nilly. Oh, I'm just gonna plot, I'm gonna put this house in, it's gonna fit to this shape and all of that. And the thing
And council regulations and boundaries.
Exactly. So now when we look at feng shui, it's really about intentionality. It's about the fact that every house, when it was built, you were building it so that it was going to be in harmony for good health and good harvest. So good health is like, so everyone's happy, healthy, get on well, and then it would reap good rewards. So when they were like farming out in the farms in ancient times in China, that the harvest was the money that they reaped from their farms. So that's what it is. It's about creating a house that's happy, healthy and wealthy, and really it's about making a house that feels like it's giving you a hug when you come in, and the things start to flow and really start to flourish. So everything, all your dreams start to flow and
giving
flourish.
you a hug when you come in.
Yes.
How many of you guys could say that when you walk into your house, it feels like it's giving you a hug? That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting for people to actually think about that. And I know we were together on the weekend, and one of the things that you made me feel ever so normal about is about having a conversation with your house, and that, I guess, continues that personification, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
That it's not like a building that we smashed up to council regs, to meet with the Joneses, to whatever. It's actually something that encompasses us and nurtures us and hugs us and is alive and is part of our life.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, if we even move out and we think like every single thing is energy. Like everything is energy. If you put the walls of this house under a telescope, you will see it vibrating and having a
Molecules
specific
vibrating.
energy. Everything. So absolutely everything you have in your house has an energetic resonance, but so does your house itself. It has a personality. And that's one of the things that most people kind of take for granted, because they're like, it's just a building.
It's just
And
plaster.
It's just plaster. And it's not, because the minute you start and the minute they start building it, you are working with the energy and you're creating a vision for what you want your life to look like and what you put into it. But you don't know that actually sometimes the things you want, your house could be repelling it. And that's when people call me in to be like, why are things falling apart? Why are things, like, not necessarily falling apart in my house, but in my life? Like, my relationship's not working. I've just lost my job. Money isn't coming in. My children are fighting all the time.
People keep getting sick.
Or it's just like drama. Or you feel like you're jinxed. That is one of the big things. My clients come and they're like, how could it get any worse than this? And it's like, it is just this crazy spiral. And honestly, that makes me feel really, really sad, because I believe that everybody is meant to have an amazing life that's joyous and flowing and easy. And if you just think that your house could be pushing that away or attracting it and supporting you, and the idea is making it support
even if you don't know what is. Maybe look inward. Maybe look at what you're surrounding yourself with.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we could literally talk about this for days. So you guys are in luck. Patricia is going to be a regular, and we're going to be bringing you so many more things about when you're renovating, when you're restyling, when you're redesigning, or when you're initially building, what you need to think about in each and every space of your property. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we'll see you next time. All right, floor plans smashed out. So happy with how this place is looking. I can't wait to show you it once it's all transformed. But the next step is one of my most favorite parts of a renovation. I will not go into any renovation unless I can make money, if that is my aim from it. And I need to be able to do that, I need to know all of my costs. So I do it in a couple of steps. I find so many people are unbelievably daunted by the concept of costing up their renovation. So I do it in a couple of ways. First, I go room by room, literally bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, living, outdoor, garden, steps, area by area, space by space, and I price up each and every material that you're going to need in there. So everything from the PowerPoints to the amount of paint, to the curtains, the window furnishings, the carpets, the toilets, the robe hooks, you name it. I price every single element up for each and every room. And then once all of that is inside my calculation, I then go back and I look at the trades I'm going to need to use in every room. So for my bathroom, for example, which I'm working on at the moment, I'm going to need a tiler, I'm going to need a glazier, I'm going to need a chippy to help me frame up a dropped ceiling and to put on a new door. So I actually go and enter each of those into the app. I actually have to run in a minute because I have an appointment with my tiler to get an estimate for it. Once I get my estimates, all my fixed quotes, depending on how I'm working with my trades, I then go back in and enter that exact amount into my budget. So not one element is missing from my budget. I have all my materials, I have all of my trades, and then I know exactly where I stand moving forward. But for those of you who haven't renovated much, whether you're renovating for wealth, renovating for profit, or whether you are just renovating because you want to create an amazing home for yourself or your tenants to live in, so important that you renovate with a buffer. So I recommend that if you're starting out, renovate with a 15% buffer. So that's 15% of your total project cost should be a contingency. So make sure that you also enter that in as a line item inside your app for your budget. Got to run though, got an appointment with that tiler to get that estimate locked down. Happy pricing. You weren't filming about Chris Hemsworth, were you?
Oh yeah, that's.
All a vignette is blah. Well, I've got wine in the fridge that I couldn't finish last night.
Well, we might have to have a tipple before we go.
Tip number 4. Sorry.